Hey guys, we're back again at our shop at ECS Tuning. We're here with Garrett from Liqui Moly, and we're going to talk about engine oil additives. Garrett, thanks again for being here. School us a little bit on your Liqui Moly engine additives.
Absolutely. So as you know, Liqui Moly started out, we talked about 1957, and this was the actual product that the company started with, which was molybdenum MOS2, and it got pretty popular pretty fast. It's an anti-friction product, and basically, if you want to really make it simple, it's a very small particle that gets in between metal surfaces in the engine and makes them smoother. A real simple process, but it has such a good lasting effect, and it has a great benefit to the engine to make it last longer. From there, we moved on to the next generation, which is ceramic particle, which is Ceratec, which is our #1 anti-friction product right now. It's also one of your popular products here at ECS. And then with that, there's other products that do different things in your engine. So if you had a noisy lifter, we have a lifter additive. If you had an issue with your viscosity or your engine oil being too low for your use, you can add a viscosity improver. And then there's motor oil saver, which basically works on the rubber parts of the engine, the seals and gaskets, and actually makes them more pliable so they work better, and they'll reduce oil consumption. And of course, all of these products benefit from being used after using engine flush. And this is a really simple thing. A lot of folks will be a little bit concerned about using an engine flush. This is very safe to use. I use it in everything I own. But the cool thing about this is that it's a 10-minute flush, and all you're doing is putting the detergent back in your dirty oil for 10 minutes before you drain it before an oil change. So the really good part about this is it cleans things like variable valve time areas, passages through your engine. We're going to talk about this turbo additive we have as well. But in a turbocharger, you have very, very small areas where the oil has to flow. So in that case, you want to keep those clean so that everything functions properly.
Awesome. So how often should you be using any of these products?
So symptomatically, you would use these products when you identify an issue with your engine.
Right.
If you're blowing smoke, if you're having issues with losing a lot of oil consumption, you know, you're not losing, but you're gaining, you're losing a lot of oil, this would be a product that would help your seals in your engine. A product like this would be anti-friction. You could use this every oil change, which we'd recommend. If you want to go the distance, you can use Ceratec, which this actually lasts for 30,000 miles. So when you put this product in and treat your engine, it goes 30,000 miles before you have to treat it again. And that gives you that same protection.
Awesome. Any other tips and tricks you'd like to add?
Well, you know, the best thing to do is if you're buying a new car, a new used car, okay, the first thing you want to do is make sure everything is proper. You want to change all your fluids, your brake fluid, your transmission fluid. Just make sure everything's the way it's supposed to be. And I would always recommend doing an engine flush to make sure that your engine is as clean as possible, to give you the long duration, and also to make sure all the components are running properly, right, operating wise. And then an anti-friction. This is a great thing to use in every engine. This is a better product to use for more, I guess, newer engines, I should say.
Awesome.
Engines of the next generation, after we started using catalytic converters and that kind of stuff. And then turbo additive is something that we developed based on the MOS2. And this is a product that goes in the turbo inlet line before you start an engine that has a turbo. And this is for a new installation or replacement, or if you've removed the turbo and putting it back on. What this does is it gives you the super anti-friction product in the bearing of the turbo before you start the car. Because when you start a turbo for the first time, it's going to spin up to 100,000 RPMs. So if you can imagine taking a cordless drill and holding onto the drill bit and spinning that, right? How your finger's going to feel,
Yikes.
right? Well, that's what your turbo is feeling. You know, it's sad. You know, so that's one of the things that really you can benefit from putting this in first, and then you'll have that anti-friction component.
Awesome. So Garrett, I'm actually getting ready to put my own turbo on my car.
Cool. Can
you kind of take me through the process of what that's going to look like, what these products I can use, and kind of demonstrate on Mike's 944 turbo here?
Excellent, absolutely. So one of the things about turbos is the inner core of the turbo, and that's where the oil goes in and then comes out. So it's going to come in here and it's going to come out down here. And while it's doing that, it's maintaining a pressure, which is sealing the oil in the center of the turbo.
Right.
A couple of things that happen with a turbo is high pressure and high temperatures. This side of the turbo gets very hot. These glow very often, right? And then you've got fresh air coming in from the cooler. So the biggest part about this is oil condition and keeping these parts clean, because the inside of the veins in here of the center of the turbo are going to get sticky, hot. There's going to be a lot of buildup. There's going to be a lot of oil ruined in this engine. On either side of the turbo are carbon seals. and those are basically burnt oil. That's what keeps everything in there. So one of the things we'll always recommend is before you replace a turbo or add a turbo in your case, do an engine flush.
Okay.
Because you're going to be adding components to your engine that are going to have to do with oil flow and oil management, because you're going to have to add an oil circuit to lubricate the turbo.
Right.
And then what we would do is we'd use a product like the turbo additive. And basically what you would do is before this actually spools up and spins, okay, you're going to go and put this product inside the center of the turbo. The MOS2 product is going to get all over the inner bearing, and it's going to protect that for the first time that spins up to speed, which is about 100,000 RPMs to 300,000 RPMs.
Wow.
If you think about that, that's a lot more than anything should handle.
Right.
And the bearing in here is actually just a bushing with the shaft running through it.
Okay.
It's not a roller bearing in most cases. So there are turbos with roller bearings. This works with both types, but the protection is the MOS2 particle being in there on the metal-to-metal contact.
So what do I need to know about oil for my turbo?
So all you need to know about your oil for your turbo is your car has an oil approved for it. So like a Volkswagen 502 spec or BMW Long Life 01 or Mercedes-Benz 229.5, the oils that are designed for your car are designed to help lubricate a turbo properly.
Right.
So that's what you should be thinking about and using in your car. The next part about it is more frequently doing engine flushes, because the turbo gets very hot on this side. Performance turbos actually glow, and you'll see them on race cars a lot of times, and that's 1200 degrees. Right. So that means there isn't really a lot of oils out there that are going to stand to sit idle at 1200 degrees. Flowing by and lubricating is good. Standing still is going to burn and coke and turn into sticky tar. And that's where you want to have an engine flush more frequently to make sure that the oil veins that go through here that do their job can do their job.
Perfect. So if you're going from an NA car to a turbo car, you don't have to change your engine at all, or your oil at all.
You must consider an oil that's designed to be used in turbos, and most of our oils are, because they all work in those vehicles.
Right.
So depending on if you're adding a turbo to a vehicle that didn't have a turbo before, just do a little bit of research. Also check with the turbo manufacturer. They usually know what oils work best with their products.
Lots of great advice. Well, thanks for coming and giving us all that info. If you guys are interested in any of these products, check out the links down in the description below. Don't forget to subscribe to see our next video.